Hello everyone, and in this video I'll basically be showing you how to annotate Basking Shark for the 2022 SQA National 5 exam. Now Basking Shark is not a favourite as it's probably one of the hardest MacCaig poems to annotate as it doesn't really link in with other poems, so I hope this video can help you, and yeah, we'll just get on with the video now. So the first stanza is, to stub an oar on a rock where none should be, to have it rise with a slouch out of the sea, is a thing that happened once too often to me. To stub, to have, they're both infinitive verbs, help to capture the reader's attention. On a rock suggests that the hardness and the movability of the object met. And slouch seems to be a combination of slouch and lounge and conveys the lazy, ponderous movement of the surfacing creature it describes. And is also onomatopoeia. And the once too often, this is kind of humorous, and it's a parenthesis, and it's implying that this is not a counter he wishes to repeat, and it kind of gives a bit of humor into there as well, and it kind of shows the alarm caused in the poet. The slow, steady rhythm of these three lines is perfectly suited to the gradual surfacing movement of the huge shark. So now we're on to stanza 2. But not too often, though enough, I count as gain, that once I met on a sea tin-tacked with rain, that room-sized monster with a matchbox brain. Okay. So if you look at the once too often of the opening stanza is both echoed here as well. And the dash indicates no rush. While it is frightening at first, he now thinks this experience is worthwhile. And we get that as we know this is a positive and worthwhile experience, as he says, I count as gain. Okay, so if we look at this metaphor here, a sea tin-tacked with rain, this captures MacCaig's usual gift of exact observation. The nature of the rain, hard, relatively sparse droplets pattering the smooth surface with neat round imprints just like tacks that have been hammered into a tin plate. The alliteration of the hard consonant T helps to replicate the metallic sound of the rain hitting the boat. And if we also look at a room-sized monster with a matchbox brain, you can see that it's also alliteration and is a metaphor. The room-sized monster and a matchbox brain, the contrast of the shark's size and enormous body compared with its tiny brain is elegantly portrayed here. The linking alliteration, consonant M, serves to further emphasize the comparison. In comparison with basking sharks, humans may not be as big in size, but they have much larger brains. So if you want to pause the video and quickly look at the text, copy down, and we'll move on to stanza 3. Also, there is a clever use of long and short vowels in this final line too. The long vowels in room-sized monster appropriately extend and elongate the expression to reinforce the size of the shark in the contrast to the short, clipped vowels of the matchbox brain. We're now on to stanza 3. He displaced more than water. He shoggled me. Centuries back, this decadent townie shook on a wrong branch of his family tree. Okay, so this stanza marks a turning point as the poet switches from observational to reflective mode. The short opening sentence, he displaced more than water, introduces the idea of the poet being metaphorically displaced. He shoggled me, / centuries back in the time. This creature, a throwback to prehistoric times, creates in the imagination of the poet a glimpse of the early evolutionary stage of the emergence of land creatures from our common ancestors' marine life. Word choice shoggled means shook or caused to move. Okay, so it just kind of means that he's been actually physically shaken by the experience. and is a colloquial verb, struggle to describe how he is shifted. He describes himself as a decadent townie. The word choice decadent in this context suggests that in his decision to remove himself from a natural world to an urban setting, he has lost a sense of purpose in his life and become too immersed in the pursuit of hedonistic pleasures. The next line, which depicts how the speaker was shook on a wrong branch of the family tree, conveys how he is both literally and metaphorically shaken by this experience. He is reminded that this shark too is part of our own family tree. The expression wrong branch is slightly ambiguous and could be interpreted in two ways. Firstly, because of our inherent sense of intellectual superiority over this creature, we're unwilling to recognize we are in any way related. Secondly, it is in fact humans who have gone wrong in their evolutionary path. It is humankind, not the shark, who is the monster. Stanza 4. Swish up the dirt, and when it settles, a spring is all the clearer. I saw me, in one fling, emerging from the slime of everything. Comparison between stirring up the dirt in a spring in water, then being all the clearer, and the present situation the speaker finds himself in. The onomatopoeia, swish, of the water also refers to the idea of displacement in the previous stanza. While initially the dirt would muddy the water and make it dark and impossible to see through, eventually, once settled, it would be clearer. The image prepares us for the conclusion of the poem as the speaker is about to reveal what is now clear to the following this encounter. The dirt in this case is the murk throughout of humans evolved into what they are now. The idea of dirt in our origins continues with the word choice slime. MacCaig sees a connection between the shark and humans. We all have come from the same place, the slime of our evolutionary origins. In his eyes, MacCaig has a surreal image of himself crawling out of the slime and returning to the initial fundamental beginnings of human existence. The word choice emerging in the final line of this stanza reinforces this new sense of clarity associated with coming out of the dark into light, while the word choice everything again reinforces our similarity with every other species at the start of this process. Stanza 5. So who's the monster? The thought made me grow pale. For 20 seconds while, sail after sail, the tall fin slid away, and then the tail. Question the poem has been leading to. So who's the monster? By this stage, it seems clear to the poet his initial dismissive response to the shark as a brainless inferior creature has been reversed. This magnificent, awesome creature is monstrous simply because of its relative size. But in metaphorical sense, it is clear the speaker now considers humanity to be the true monster. The sheer size of this creature is conveyed by a number of techniques. There is the mention of 20 seconds, being the time the shark takes to pass him by, and the repetition of sail after sail, referring to its fin and tail above the water. The metaphor, comparing fin and tail to sails, gives us the impression of vast surface areas, and the shape is also nicely evoked. There is a sequence of long vowels in sail, tall, slid away, and finally tail. All of these effectively combine to suggest the gradual exit of this vast animal. The speaker's view of the creature has been also displaced at the end of the poem. No longer is it the clumsy, bulky creature of the opening lines, but something graceful and elegant. This reinforces the change in the speaker. Just as he now has a different view of himself, so too his opinion about the shark has been altered. And there you have it. That is the entire poem annotated. So hopefully this was useful. And in the next episode, I'll be showing you the commonality and themes throughout Basking Shark. So thank you very much for watching this video and have a lovely day.